Welcome to the 217 Recovery Podcast.
If you don't make mistakes, you won't learn.
With your host, Cori Winfield.
Like, oh my gosh, I'm going into a place and there are going to be people like talking to walls, and there was some of that. But it was still pretty cool.
Co-host, Marney Winfield.
And if they don't get that sincere messaging, then they're not going to have that conversation on a level where maybe you can get through to them.
And special guest, Cori Smoker.
I don't want to hear the here over here, but then I know what you're skipping down the street over there doing, you know?
Got your ass.
It is the 19th of June, 2025. My name's Cori Winfield, and this is the 217 Recovery Podcast, joined by Marney Winfield.
Hey there.
Cori Smoker.
Hey.
Are you escaping to where? Huh?
I don't even remember that podcast.
But that was a good one, though, because you made a good point. And next time I speak at an event or something, anything, I'm going to remember that. And I'm going to say, you know what? They're skipping to the, I'll say, maybe I'll get it put on a shirt. Who knows? But glad you guys are here. Glad you ladies, women, he, she's, your pronouns, hims or hers, probably.
She, her.
Mrs.
Mrs. Okay. And that's great. You two, before we get into, because I want to talk about the recovery friendly workplace program, but before I do, it was mentioned to me that we should talk about the app and thank people for listening on the app. And if they don't have the app, to get the app and to rate us in whatever store, whatever platform they're listening on, because the more people, and it's not about, hey, we need to be famous and big. Nothing to do with that. But if there's something on a podcast, maybe from 2 years ago that you like, that you heard me say, or Chris Goss, or maybe Marney a couple of years ago, or maybe you heard her say, that could help somebody, so do the 5-star thing, like us, and appreciate it. I guess it helps us more than we know, is what they told me. I said, okay, I'll mention it.
Yeah.
Damn. Because they're like, man, there's a lot of good stuff that you have in there, but you're just not doing it right. And I'm like, look, bro, I don't have time, but maybe we will have time, and maybe we can make time, because again, what's an hour on my day if we can help 30 people or 10 people or one person, it's worth it, I would say.
For sure.
Yeah. And some people will be like, yeah, but you were just doing a podcast, making a video. I'm like, yeah, but I'm actually said something that somebody can relate to. And if it helps them click, guess what? Because somebody said something to me sometime at some point, I don't know, I think it was a bunch of people, but it clicked one day, so I just want that for everybody. But anyway, the Recovery Friendly Workplace program is fun. You guys are doing a pretty good job with it. And it's something new to us. Well, the way we're kind of attacking it now, I would say, is like full-fledged. Like, we want people to sign up for it. And you'd said something to me the other day. You're like, man, this is kind of tough because it feels like sales. Mm-hmm. And you're not selling anything. Like, as a recovery community, we figured, how can you break the stigma? Well, one thing is we got to teach people, before I was in this chair, I was in a chair in Arkansas, sitting on my couch. I was sitting in the chair just getting drunk off my ass saying, I don't have a problem. I'm not like those people. My liver was shutting down. And that was like, no, I don't have a problem. I'm not an alcoholic. So until you're educated about it, like, you don't know. And I was saying to Cori earlier, she was learning some new programs. It's like, you don't know what you don't know. Like, if you don't do something, how are you supposed to know how to do it? So when you try something new, yeah, you're going to fail, and it'll look silly. In a year from now, you look back at it and go, oh my God, I'm so much better. But you'll see that growth. Recovery is the same way. So I think for people to understand that, you can start in schools. You can start, by talking with your family. But another place is the workplace, and the workplace is usually our lifeline. At least me, that was my lifeline to my drug of choice. So, and it's like a race. If I were to run from here to the front door, by the time I hit the front door, I'm going to be, if I even make it to the front door. You know what I'm saying? Some people could use this as a mile race, or I can run for 20 miles and in the 19th mile, it's kind of the same way at least the way I look at it in my active addiction. I was running out of gas, and then finally it just, when my liver and kidneys shut down, I was in the hospital. I couldn't hide it anymore. Work was affected. I called them and told them I had taken the wrong pill, or they gave me something in it. I completely lied, but I wasn't a doctor. I didn't know. They had told me it was because of my drinking. The doctors told me that, but the way I told it to my work, it sounded better. But iHeartMedia, they were so understanding, and I wish I would have been more honest with them at the time, because then I ended up going, like 3 or 4 months later, I ended up going to this place in California, but I was only there for a couple of weeks. And then the 90-day thing, I still stayed off of work 90 days, even though I flew back to Arkansas and I just hung out at the house. I think I started drinking again, and then my mom had to fly back and to Arkansas. I think I was answering my phone, and she just showed up at my door. I'm like, oh, okay, guess we're doing something else today. But anyway, my point here is to have a workplace understand, or at least have people understand, in the places that you guys are training, they could take it home to their grandkids. They could take it home to their husband. They can. It's very valuable information.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks. Well, I'm gonna talk more about. Oh no, just sorry. No. I was kidding. Go ahead.
And
I'm done.
That's something, like, I was even just saying yesterday to a company that we did a little orientation Zoom meeting with about moving forward, and the next step for the training is that, not a lot of employers want to admit that maybe their employees are dealing with SUD and OUD. But like I tell them, I'm like, okay, well, if you think that it's not in your workplace, at least this information and training for your staff and your employees can be information to help them with either the people that they're serving or their family members, or just having that knowledge of knowing, like, maybe they have a friend that has a child that's suffering. And so then they can have these outlet of resources now where they know of people they can turn to ask instead of just not knowing.
Yeah. And I mean, just to recap the whole initiative in general is, so this initiative is fairly new to the state of Michigan in terms of like popularity. And I hate to use that word, but I mean, people are unfamiliar with it in general. So it's kind of, even the people that have been presented with it kind of are like, what does that even mean? Tell me more about it. And so that's kind of where we are at that starting point where we need to even explain what it is that we're going to be training them on before people even consider going through the designation process, which is fair, And so, and essentially it's a lot of just substance use disorder, opioid use disorder 101 stuff. It's really kind of like general knowledge about what substance use disorder is, its prevalence, and more so being what part you can play as a business owner or agency operator or staff lead, management position, what have you, in your operation, to be supportive of people who are either struggling with substance use disorder or in early recovery, right? Being supportive of people in that recovery process. Because as you and I and all of us know, that it's a lifelong decision. So every day we wake up and we commit ourselves to, a life of sobriety. And what does that mean for me? What do I need to maintain that sobriety? It's different for me, then it's different for Cori, then it's different for Cori. And that's different for everybody else. Maybe it's meetings, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's the gym, maybe it's, walks, maybe who knows what. So, and if your work life takes up so much of your actual, day in general, it's like what, 70% of your wake time or something like that?
Yeah.
Some crazy percent. So if you think about that, there's going to be an overlap, and maybe your needs for your sobriety might conflict with some of those work hours. And so the things that you'll need to be, having your employer be flexible with those needs, and for you to feel comfortable to vocalize those needs is really kind of what this training is trying, a piece of what this training is trying to have everybody kind of be on the same page with.
And the range of businesses that you've registered so far, from churches to bars to tattoo parlors, pizza places, I mean, it's crazy. And it takes that, to kind of spread the word and break the stigma, of addiction. So you guys are doing great work, is what I wanted to bring up. And people listening to this podcast are probably, I would assume, familiar with recovery, familiar with addiction. So if you're working at a place, if you're owner, manager, whatever, and this is something you want to explore, I would say do it, and I wish there was a way to do it that you guys didn't feel like salespeople, but it's something we got to tell people about. And yeah, when you call businesses, we get called all the time, and we know how annoying that is, but it's also important too. But 217recovery.com/RFW is the page. You can learn more and register if you're interested.
Yeah.
So what else up with y'all?
Me and Jesse, we closed and moved in on our new house.
Nice. Congratulations.
Obviously.
Oh, okay.
That's been amazing journey to start and end the townhouse and the renting and storage unit, and now have like kind of everything is all in one spot again, and just kind of weeding through things and figuring out what it is we want to keep and hang up and place. And so that's been good. Since we had a last podcast, we did a free fishing weekend. We did a fishing event down at Sunset Park. That was a lot of fun. We had a good little turnout. I think like 23 people.
Yeah, it's like a blast.
Yeah, we did have fun. We had some good laughs and played cornhole as well, and just hung out.
Zero fish?
Zero fish.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's good. You didn't have to mess with them. Fish are nasty.
Yeah, I was good. I got some bait for them. I set it down. I was like, I'm done.
There was fishing that happened. There was just no fish caught.
Yeah.
No.
What's the next event?
We're going to have volunteer at the Cherry Festival.
Yep.
Nice.
That's right. Cherry
Nice.
Festival's first week of July. It
Yep.
starts, is it the 1st? No.
So it starts, I think, like on the last day of June.
Okay.
And then I want to say the first is
Air
possibly
show.
on Monday?
Tuesday
Tuesday.
is the 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like the couple end dates in June and then into the 1st of July. We have 3 different shifts that will be as 217, and some volunteers here will be down there working the farmers market and the Pepsi tent.
Mm-hmm. And that's always been so much fun. I hadn't been able to make it. Wasn't able to make it last year, but it's always a good time, and people are so nice, and like people ask questions about what 217 is, and I think it feels like we're really supported by the community.
Yeah.
And you have a game night coming up.
Yeah, the game night is on Thursday, June 26th from 5 to 8. We're going to have pizza, soda, fun, cornhole, Connect 4.
Like a big Connect 4 or just regular?
Big Connect 4.
Nice. Well, that'll be fun. And how can people find out more about that?
So they can go on our website at www.217recovery.com. And we actually today just posted a new like little community bulletin board on there.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go on Cori Smoker's Facebook, and I made a video invitation.
Nice. Yeah, you got to check this out. And this is so cool. And this is, again, what I was talking about earlier about learning new things. And you did. You learned something new, and you did something new today. And how'd that make you feel?
It made me feel good, but then
Vulnerable.
yeah. But then I was like, I know it's not Corey Winfield approved, but I just had to keep telling him, you know what? You told me, go for it, do it. And then I just keep saying, he's like, well, we could just do it with our camera. And I'm like, no, you told me you're going to let me do it and let me post it. And then I can learn and critique later.
Yeah.
And I said, anything on there is better than nothing.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great. I think you did a great job. And that is the kind of thing that you just like, I was just like, when I was talking about when I was faced with stuff like that, you know, and you're just like, put it off. I'm like, oh man, like I'm worried about it being what it's going to be like, or is it going to be good enough? You just need to do it. Just do it, be done with it. And you know what? And like he was saying about anything that we try to do, or especially when you're learning stuff, you know, you can only make it better, you know, and I don't know, stuff like some people are more comfortable in front of the camera and in front of the microphone than others, and have more experience. So, it's kind of hard to compare.
See, I'm a kind of person, like, if I can just go and wing it and do it and people take pictures and stuff like that, like, then I'm photogenic. But then it's like all of a sudden now you want me to sit in front of the camera and smile or talk. Then I'm like...
Or like, where do I look at? What am I looking at? Because I'm not looking at people. So you're looking at...
Yeah. But, hey, you know what? I did it. I posted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's out there.
Yep. And you've done it, and now you know how to do it, and now you can just make them better. And then when you did do it, I sent you a link. I'm like, hey, look at this, because these guys, it's some professional film thing I signed up for, and it's classes and whatever, but they're only 2 to 5 minutes long, these little videos but they teach you and tell you a lot of important things. And I was like, here, I'm going to share this with you, because now you're going to be interested in how to make it better. So now you'll learn, and you'll be like, oh my God, yeah. But if you didn't have any interest in that, I wouldn't have shared it with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's a whole nother thing, but that is cool that you did that. And speaking of videos, we went on vacation and we brought all of our video equipment, all our podcast stuff. We had used it 0 times. The only time I touched it was loading it into the car, out of the car to the Airbnb, then back into the car, and then out of the car again. That was fun.
Yeah.
We didn't get to use it at all. The vacation, I don't know, man. I'm just glad to be home. It was a family vacation to Tennessee. Don't see a trip to Tennessee in my future ever again. Nothing against Tennessee. There were some good people there. I lost my wallet. I didn't know, thank goodness. And the lady at the store, called.
Tracked you down.
Tracked me down.
Do you know she actually called here?
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Because she was like, yeah,
apparently she tried to like Facebook me, and I'm like, I don't know this person. I mean, like, I don't ever check it normally, but then I think I maybe popped up or something, and I was like, I'm not sure who this person is, so I didn't even pay attention.
Well, they called here. Mitchell told them to call you, and then we were like just sitting here. We've been waiting and waiting to hear the story of the lost wallet, because we're like, Corey's on vacation. He ain't answering no phone calls.
That's funny.
I mean, it's a quick story. We were going out to dinner, I think the second night or something, and I reached in my pocket. I feel like, make sure you have everything. I do the pocket check, so I feel my pockets. I'm like, I don't have my wallet. And I'm like, well, Marnie's got the card we're paying with everything for. If I get pulled over or whatever, I think like 24 hours or something is proof I have ID, whatever. So we just left, and I just figured I left it in the Airbnb. So the next morning I get a call from this Tennessee number, and I was like, what is this number? Like, it called me yesterday. So I just answered it, hello. And we had some problems with our Airbnb. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's them. Nope. It's a lady at the store saying, hey, I got your wallet. And I'm like, huh? Is that where that is? She's like, what, you didn't know it was lost? I was like, nah, thank God. Because I would have lost my mind probably. I mean, maybe I would have went back to the store, but I would have been like, where did I have it last? So I guess it probably wouldn't have been that big a deal, but.
That was the first grocery trip, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
So we had driven like an insane amount of hours to finally get to Tennessee. And then we got there at this weird gap time where it was like, it was too early for us to go directly to the Airbnb. But, so we were like, let's go to the grocery store. And where were we going to put the groceries? I don't know. We were going to cross that bridge when we get to it. So then we have Parker, our baby, who's 1 year old, who's just like over it all. So we drag him into the store. I got him. I'm kind of got a list going, get the stuff. And then I'm like unloading things onto the, belt thing. And he's like, we're taking turns trading, holding him, and me figuring out how to pay for it, and him getting, so it was this whole thing. Ends up, he probably just put it up on the register and then just didn't put it back in his pocket.
Yeah, because I think you had to use the bathroom or something, or you had to take Parker in.
No, I had to change his diaper.
Yeah, so you left all your paperwork, her important planner at the very end of the aisle with the belt, Like as you walk up and you start putting stuff on, the guy's in front of you, you get that little corner. That's where she put that.
And
so the guy's like, hey, is that yours? I'm like, oh, shit, yeah. I don't know why they didn't do that with my wallet. Because I sat there and I was talking to him about how cool I was and stuff like that, how I normally do. And So, I mean, it was probably a good 10 minutes after. Like, I had checked out. Okay, maybe 2 minutes, but still enough where the guy behind me in line was like, hurry up. Yeah. But
Anyways,
we got the wallet
I was
back.
just glad I got it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could have been worse, much worse. You know, somebody could have taken it and it could have been just, ugh. You know, my 28,000 credit cards, millions and trillions of dollars of credit I got. I had to call every one of them. Like, hey, sorry, we didn't make the mansion payment in Florida this week. I got my card stolen.
Well, just trying to get a new ID.
I don't
driver's
think rich people pay with their condo rent or mortgage with credit cards, though, do they? I think no. Anyway,
I don't even know if you
one
can
day when I'm
pay a
rich,
mortgage
I'll
payment
sound
with a
like
credit card.
I know what I'm
can.
talking about.
I don't even think you can pay a mortgage payment with a credit card.
Yeah, so let's move on. So,
Okay.
little Parker though was cute. We went
Oh my
to
gosh.
Cincinnati and we toured Paycor Stadium where the Bengals play, and he ran to the end zone. I didn't film it. He was dancing. He spiked his bottle.
We did film it.
I didn't film the good one where he
The good
spiked
one,
it and
yeah.
he was dancing.
Oh my God, it was so funny.
Yeah, but you know what? Part of it, though, is I'm glad you were just living in the moment of that with your family.
Yeah. Birthday was great. We chilled at the house or at the Airbnb we had in Cincinnati, and we DoorDashed some diapers. It was great. Ordered a pizza.
Yeah.
The pizza would have been a lot better if it was warmer, but it was still pretty good. And we just chilled. I think I went to bed. It was 8:30. It was great. It was the best birthday.
Good. Weren't traveling.
Oh,
Yep. It was
Good.
freaking awesome.
we literally didn't. I don't think we left the.
Well, we toured the
Oh, that was the day
stadium.
we. Yeah, that was the day we did the
that,
tours.
and then we just chilled.
Yeah.
That Airbnb was beautiful.
Oh my gosh, he just loved it.
Yeah.
Parker could just go from one end of the house, I guess you want to call it, to the other. You just hear his little feet. Tick, 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 tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick.
You know, being one and learning how to walk, you know, I mean, it was perfect for him. And it was an interesting design of a place, but yeah, it was cool. And we started watching movies with him, and we did a lot of chilling. And one movie that we know that there was parts of this movie that he laughs at really loud and just out loud. I remember the first time he did it, he might have been 5 months old, 6 months. He was little. And I remember thinking, did that just happen? He was watching Boss Baby and he just starts laughing out loud. And it was the first time I had ever heard him do that, you know, just like I wasn't tickling him or nothing, you know, just for him just to be sitting there and just, ha, 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 ha. And I'm like, what?
Okay, first,
So-
it wasn't like 5 months old. He
Might
like,
have been 6.
I
It was
think
it was before
smiled.
Christmas.
He
Like,
was smiling big and like he'd go, ha.
no, he ha 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 laughed out loud at this movie.
At 6 months?
Yes, and then he did the same thing. Remember with the baby gate. So whenever we put that up, was he right when he was crawling? Telling you. So anyway, this movie still gets him, and we haven't watched it in a while, so we're watching it, and there's a part where he just laughs out loud again,
Yeah.
and so we watch it over and over, and every single time he laughs out loud at this part. So we decided we were going to record it. So Marney, you recorded this first part, and then you'll hear me. I'll introduce the part where I recorded, but now we're in a cute battle. Which one sounds cuter?
Yeah. Because there were 2 separate occasions.
A game I don't even want to play because I think they're both cute, but
Yeah.
let's just give a listen.
You're funny. You love that part. Every time.
And here's the one that I recorded. Pretty cute.
You can't not listen to that and just be like grinning ear to ear.
Yeah, it's when he takes the robot that's like a transformer or something, and he's like, and it smashes his lamb or whatever, and he starts doing that, and Parker just loses it, man. He just laughs every time. And then if you laugh with him, because like the couple times where I'll just laugh out loud with him because it's funny to hear him laugh, and then that gets him going, and he laughs twice as hard. But there, we're just trying to get his reaction, but maybe we'll record those ones too, because those are pretty funny when he starts laughing. And having a kid is something that's just been amazing, and it's truly a blessing being in recovery and, you know, being able to go home and spend time with the family and just see a little cute little baby and just to see the joy in his face, and it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
And his smile.
Yeah.
Man, it's just sometimes he cheeses so big and his little teeth hanging out.
Yep.
Yeah, he is a cutie, and he was a trooper on the trip, man. I felt so bad because it's just a lot of car travel, and he's a trooper, but I don't know. I know there's some talk about going back to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, pretty cool city. People in Detroit, though, are nicer. We haven't really talked about that because we all kind of went to Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not kind of.
We did.
We went to Detroit.
Yeah.
And for a baseball game. And thanks again to the Tigers for, giving us tickets and allowing us to take people in recovery. Appreciate that. But Detroit people were so nice.
Oh my gosh.
It was
nice.
So awesome.
They were very welcoming.
I remember the guys from the ticket because they had the NFL draft there a couple years ago. And the guys that I listened to from the ticket come from Dallas. And they were talking about people in Detroit being so nice. And I was like, what are they talking about? And then we go there and I'm like, yeah, from the ballpark to the parking garage to the restaurant. It was awesome. Big shout out to Detroit on that.
The hotel staff, like everybody was just kind
nice.
and sincerely
Didn't
kind.
Seem,
not
didn't
like
seem
cheesy.
fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very cool. So if you haven't been to Detroit in a while, maybe you might want to go back.
Check it out, man. Yeah, for sure.
It really was a very cool trip.
It was. The hotel was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And people in Cincinnati were all right. But I wouldn't say it was that same kind of.
No. We did find a good restaurant there, though. And the waiter there was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool little city.
And their little splash pads. I like those.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I can drive it again, man. I'm done with driving after the trip to Washington.
Make Cori drive.
I'm back.
He'll drive.
Because I was thinking that too, if we did go down there, that we could kind of swing up and around on our way back and go to Akron, Ohio.
There you go. Work trip.
Where?
Well, when I came back, I gave myself a challenge because I lost a couple pounds, so I'm feeling a little better. I gave myself a challenge that I would sleep in my bed for 365 consecutive days. Nights.
Did you tell your wife about this challenge?
Well, this is the thing, man. My wife and I, we have this relationship where we're going to make each other better. And to do that, you got to make yourself better and you got to challenge yourself. So we know that our goals sometimes, have to be self-fulfilling because we can't really put all that weight on the other person because we have a great marriage like that.
Is there like a small print, like an asterisk down there where it's like excluding minor getaways?
I don't know. I'll go back and watch the vows. 217recovery.com/wedding. Watch that again real quick and we'll see if it's sticker or pour.
Well, I mean,
no, not in there.
Because we have got another thing we're trying to plan with you too.
Camping.
Yeah, we want to go camping.
Why would you want to go
because
camping?
I'll tell you why. Here's why.
It's bear
because
season
we knew,
now.
We knew. Listen, we have recognized that Corey Winfield
God, why would we do this?
Because Corey Winfield has opened up this new. He's challenged himself.
Because I lost a couple pounds?
Because you got in a public swimming pool.
Obviously. Well, so that means because I swim with people's pee and kids' pee that I now can go camping.
Yes. With me and Jesse and Parker.
Yes, because
and Marney.
How did it go last time you went camping? Was that fun? Did you have a good time?
Well, it was all right time, yeah.
Obviously. Mm-hmm.
And I think with you and Jesse together, we would have a great time.
Obviously.
And Parker.
Obviously.
And you don't even know your camping situation yet.
Glamping?
Yes.
You can't even call it glamping.
Glamping.
I can't even talk. So you can't even call it camping if we're glamping. So what kind of big RV are we going to be in? Like the one that rock stars tour on?
I don't know. We were just...
That's different.
Well, I mean, that's an avenue we could look at.
It sounds to me like that wasn't okay. I think that was an approval.
We were also looking at, they're like, I can't say the word right.
Yurts. And they're like...
Why don't we just stay at our house? We can go in the basement. We can look outside. You got trees out there. And we'll just be like, hey, we're camping.
That's not as fun.
How do you know? It could be even more fun. We have Jesse and I have a bigger TV we play video games on.
Well, then you know what? He's going to come and spend the weekend with you, and we're going camping.
Like, what do you do when you camp?
What do you mean? What do you do?
That
when
was
you
a
camp?
good question.
We have a 1-year-old who absolutely loves
He loves to eat dirt. You're right. Okay, so he wakes up. Okay, so let's just walk me through it. Okay, I'm not. There's type of people that can like walk into a house. I'm not one of these people and just go, oh, imagine this over here and this there. It's a name for it, but I'm not that person. I walk into a house and go, this is ugly, and it will always be ugly. I can't picture like my stuff. Anyway, so you got to walk me through this. We wake up camping. I'm on what?
a bed.
A queen king size bed.
Probably queen.
Oh, turn the air down. It's cold in here. Right?
Right.
All right.
Yep. There's air conditioned.
Guess what? We're going to have a real coffee pot. So you pour the water.
Walk out to go get some coffee started for Marney and some milk for a little man.
It has outlets, right? Electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So we just bring the Keurig. So that's ready. Plugged in.
Okay, I'm up.
Yep.
Little man got all that stuff.
Yep.
Go to the bathroom.
Yep.
Take a dump.
Well, I mean,
or whatever I do in the bathroom.
That's not in the
Ooh.
yurt.
Ooh, where do I go for that?
Just like they have
my
like
belly's gurgling.
high quality.
And
they have high quality restrooms.
Oh, gotta go. And that's why I gotta get dressed and put on a bunch of clothes and run to poop.
You always
have
clothes on anyway.
This sounds horrible.
I think he's just.
You don't even. What do you do in the morning? Like everybody just runs to the bathroom to fight over pooping time, or like you got to poop after somebody else poops. Like what if you have to poop real bad? And somebody else is pooping. You just got to wait.
I think you and Jesse are the only ones that be fighting over the bathroom.
You make it sound like you've never experienced any type of camping.
Bumper grabber. I mean, I can't compete with him.
So it sounds like there'll be no fight for the bathroom for you.
We'll be out by the bumper, like, well, we waited as long as we could. Like, show me how to do this.
Anyway, it sounds like you'll.
Oh, we could play euchre.
Okay, so after we find where we're pooping, then we come back. Then we shower. We got to shower together with the vagrants.
We
have cereal and bananas and blueberries.
Okay,
so you know what else is good?
So I come back, I shower.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have blueberries and bananas.
Mm-hmm. Or you pre-make like breakfast sausage burritos that you warm up over the fire or the grill.
I just have protein shake. Okay, cool. After breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys in the same? What are we in a cabin or are we in an RV? What are we in?
We haven't decided yet.
A yurt. Probably are you guys in the same yurt or are you guys next door? How big are these yurts?
Depends.
I thought they were just like bubbles that people like live in.
Well, we don't know yet.
There's
all sorts of options.
Or there's yurts.
Where's this at?
There's different
down the street.
No, there are some that are like.
Oh my God, it gets worse. Oh, do not say Tennessee.
No.
Okay.
It's in the state.
It's in Michigan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not as bad.
Yeah.
We're talking like a Friday to a Sunday, okay? Nothing longevity.
That's my whole downtime.
And then we could do podcasts from there.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You could use your drone all over the place.
Yeah, it'd be me packing up all this equipment again, not using it.
No, not your photo stuff, just your drone.
Your drone and
the
portable podcast stuff.
That'd be easy.
So we can have a podcast around a campfire.
Well, okay, but it has to be a video podcast.
And then we can take Parker swimming.
And we have to ghost hunt.
Okay.
Is it good. Near a ghost hunting location?
We'll find one.
We can find one. Yeah. You got it.
That was a commitment, I
think.
And
I have to find a pooping spot.
You think like we're going to be like we're putting a tent up for ourselves in the middle of the woods.
No.
This is not like Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. This
I don't even know, man.
We're trying to glamp.
Glamorous camping.
Can we do that someplace nice? Like at a resort or something?
Nice.
It's not far.
Yeah.
You mean like down the street from our house?
Or our house? I don't know.
We'll even camp close enough so then you can just drive home and go to bed. get up, take a shower.
Don't give him that out. What?
Yep, do it.
I don't know. We'll have to talk
And
about
then
this.
Jesse will out camp you.
The air.
And he's a non-camper. So
You
that'll be
can't-
fun.
That's like saying someone's going to out golf me. Anyway, we'll talk about it later. And we got to make way for people coming into the office now. So anyway, it was good catching up. Glad that we could do a podcast today.
Absolutely.
And big shout out to our friend Jim. He's a big fan of the podcast and listens to every single one of them except all of them. But thanks, Jim, for the support. Until next time, you guys take care.
Bye.
You too, thanks.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Listen to over 900 episodes on the 217 Recovery app that's free in your app store or online at 217recovery.com.